change your lifestyle. You want to see the transformation in your life. Okay. Yeah. Okay then. So this particular presentation is for life transformation and English transformation as well. You will get both from this video. And let me share my screen 1 minute. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, open your notes. Already opened. Guys, mute yourself when you're not speaking and don't disturb others. If I see that you are disturbing someone, I'll remove you from the class. Okay. Not from today's class, complete English therapy. When I ask the question, you should unmute yourself and tell me. And after that, immediately mute yourself. And I'll be observing each one of you, how you are sitting, how you are listening. So be mindful of it and then focus here. Okay. Yeah. So let's start then. What story we are going to watch today means, so far we have been learning a lot of psychology, concepts, that we learned how our thoughts changes our brain and body, and we also watched how our genes get changed once we change our mindset, and also we talked about quantum physics, quantum mind related concept, and we also practiced meditation. So a lot of people feel like they can change, they are getting some sort of difference, but still that changes are not permanent, and a lot of times people just see some change and it is temporary, and again they go back to their past life. They change themselves, but after some time, again sometimes what happens in this class, you feel very confident and you feel very fluent, but after some days you feel you lose the confidence and again you'll become normal. And same time, maybe your health issues, especially this concept talks about your health issues. 1 minute. Who is this Vivo P235? Mute yourself. Okay. Yeah. Mm. So this video is going to talk about something change, how our life can change, and how sometimes we fail to change our life, what kind of mistakes we do in our life, and why we live our old life again and again instead of embarking on the new journey or transforming our life. So the first story which we are going to see, the title of today's video is presentation is story of personal transformation, and we are going to see the miracle healing about one woman, how she suffered and what she had gone through, and you can apply any of your health issues into this particular concept. You can apply any of your problem, English communication skills, life problems, relationship problems, so whatever you have, you can keep your problems into this particular concept and visualize yourself the same concepts with your personal life. Okay. So we are going to see the story of Laurie's. Okay. Laurie's story, and who is she and why we are going to know about her story. And this story is going to be for around 45 minutes to 1 hour. So I want your attention for next 45 minutes to 1 hour, so that you will get the complete clarity and overview of what we have learned so far, all the technical terms in terms of psychologizations. Today is going to be the fulfillment which we are going to get with this one story, and you will get complete meaning, and you can learn so many things from this particular person story. And the Laurie, at the age of 19, she was diagnosed with a rare degenerative disease called polyostotic fibrous dysplasia. Means poly means multiple, stotic means bones, fibrous means tissues, dysplasia means some sort of problem. Okay, just think of a disease. So we have bones, right? We have anatomy of bones, and what happens generally, our bones are perfect, and unless until we fall down, maybe from a tree or from bike, or if we met with an accident, then our bones get damaged. But with this lady, okay, so with this lady, generally what happens means, she whenever she take the climb the steps also, she her bones will break. Means when you are taking, instead of taking elevator, if you are walking on the stairs, or if you put little bit extra weight on your fingers, maybe on your legs or maybe on your hands, then the bones will broke. Okay, so generally the bones will break, and that's how she had this disease. Okay, at the age of 19, up to 19 she was so good like all of us, but suddenly when she was playing in a playground, suddenly she fell, and then when she went for scanning, then she found out that the doctors told that she was diagnosed with a rare degenerative, means it will reoccur again and again, and it's incurable, it cannot be cured. 1 minute. Divya, mute yourself, and again don't make me to repeat again and again. Let me lock the room. If you leave the class, then you cannot enter. Okay, if you disturb me. So who is this Vivo? 1 minute.
Sir, it's me.
Who's that? Okay. Yeah. So at the age of 19, Laurie got the disease called Polyostotic Fibrous Dysplasia. It means the body, generally we have bones, our bones are stronger, but in our case the bones, our bone uses some very, think of that as cement. Okay, the bone uses a cement material to build very strong bones. In our case, it was very fragile, means kind of glass structured kind of material it uses, and then right, glass will is fragile and it will break easily. So in the same way, in our case also, all our bones are made up of very cheap tissues, that is called fibrous tissues, and very cheap tissues. But our bones have a very strong tissues. But in our case, our bones get replaced, that strong tissues replaced with the cheap tissues, and that made her feel to swell. Our her bones get swell and it feels weakened, and every time it gets fractured whenever she apply any small amount of weight also. So this is a condition of Laurie. Okay. So what exactly started happening at the age of 19? She started discovering this. Okay. And she had lived a relatively active youth like all of us. She started playing and doing all such kind of things, dancing and running. And she also used to go to gym and working on her bodybuilding. She lifts the weights. But after diagnosis, her life completely changed overnight. Okay. And she started now walking with the crutches. And she went to the doctor and asked like what can be done. And then doctor told her that now onwards, avoid walking. Always try to sit at one place and use the crutches or the stick. Okay. We call it as a cane. Okay. cane. Cane is like a walking stick to walk, and that was the condition. If you walk normally, then your bones will get fractured, and you will definitely feel a lot of pain inside. So it was very big nightmare for her, right? Up to 19 years she was playing and doing everything like all of us. Suddenly overnight she felt that she had that condition, and when she went to doctor, then doctor told her that she should go through some surgery. Okay, and she need one surgery. And what it required means, generally if there is a breaking of the bone at this place, so what they will do, they will just keep the nails and then stitch together those two bones. And that is what generally one doctor said, orthopedic doctor said, because it's a bone related, orthopedic doctor said. And but her father said, okay, better to visit different doctors and take the different doctors opinion. And her mother and she started visiting different hospitals with the reports, and almost they visited around 10 different hospitals, and 10 different doctors told the same thing. But finally they met one doctor, and that doctor told, your bones are already weak. If you insert the nail again, that bone also will get fractured. Better you don't need any surgery, sit sedentary life and live your life like this only. Don't move here and there, just always take the rest and eat, and don't walk, don't do any of the work. That would be the best thing for you instead of going with the surgery. And this is what generally the doctor said. it's to avoid the fractures, you better use the crutches and walking stick and then sit at one place. Okay, that is what the doctor said. And finally, the doctor, as I mentioned, different, and he advised surgery will not make any difference, and simply live your life normally. And at that time, she started feeling very powerless because, right, if you don't do anything in your day, completely sitting and lying in the bed, after that you feel very powerless. You feel like you lost all your power and you feel very small. And she started feeling that fragile means it's like a easily breakable, like when we have one particular glass, then you always have to handle with care, right? Otherwise it will broke. So that's how she started feeling inside. And with that, obviously when you're sitting every time in the home, you feel depression. Clinical depression means the depression which you get with the health related issues. If you are suffering with a lot of any personal health issues, then you will get into depression with that small health issues. So she also got into clinical depression where she was so much worried and thinking and overthinking about her disease. And everything changed, right? Obviously, up to yesterday you are living a certain life and suddenly overnight your life changed means how bad it is for that lady Laurie. Okay, so how it happened actually? So suddenly at 19 years, why it happened and why suddenly it came? Up to 19 years, she was okay. She was playing like all of us. But what really changed her life and why she had that condition? So in her early childhood days, her father was very violent man. Every time he used to go and beat her mother and her siblings. And is well like a cruel father, and he don't have any reason to beat or use the harsh words and abuse them, but every time used to be very angry man. And in the family, every time they had a lot of fear, constant fear, when her father will come and beat them from nowhere, like, and he used to punch them wherever he wants and whenever he wants, and he don't even care whether they'll get the pain or not. Now growing up as a small kid in the family, you never knows when your father is going to attack you, then you will live constantly in the state of fear, flight and fight mode. Okay, now every time your body is generally going through flight and fight mode, you are very vigilant means very alert, that no, from wherever he is going to come you don't know. So that's why you are every time keep watching around you and then trying to protect yourself and running away from that place because he's going to come and beat. So now her body is completely in the flight mode or fight mode. And as I explained in our past presentation, stress management video, after this class, you can watch the video called stress management. In that, I've clearly explained what really happens when you go through stress and why our body is designed to get the stress. And think of that when she was very small kid, as I explained in our previous Saturday sessions also, the concept of brain waves. Okay. And can you tell me what are all the brain waves we have?
Alpha, theta,
Theta, gamma,
alpha,
beta,
beta, gamma.
Alpha, beta, gamma, theta.
Okay. 5 different. Okay, but we are more focused on 4. The bottom one is delta, theta, alpha, beta, and gamma. So these are the 5 brain waves which we go through. So generally when you are young, when you are a toddler, means up to 2 years, your brain wave operates at the most of your time brain wave operate at the delta. Delta means it is a state where we sleep. Okay, when you are in the sleep, then your brain operates at the delta level frequency. And right, generally 1 year old or 2 year old kids always sleep. So when they are sleeping every time, then most of their brain operates at the delta level. Okay, delta level, which is like a completely relaxed state where you are in a deep sleep. Whereas 12 to 6 year old people in a theta state, most of the time they are in the theta state. So that theta state is the state where it is a subconscious programming state where you can program your mind very easily. Like you can influence the kids very easily in this stage. Like they will learn by watching, and whatever the moral values, ethical values, and good and bad, everything they will learn in this age, like 2 to 6 years, because their brain is highly programmable at this particular stage. Means they will learn very quickly. That's why 2 to 6 year old kid learn language also very faster, and they will learn multiple languages because their brain operates at the subconscious level, and which is like a boon. I will tell you, and if you don't know, you can watch the subconscious mind presentation, you'll understand more. Okay. And then when it comes to 6 to 12 years old people, their brain operates at the alpha state. Alpha state, the state at which like relaxed state, when you do meditation, then your brain goes to alpha state. Or when you are deeply focusing on reading, when you are reading any book, and at that stage, like you are completely involved into that work, then you will get into alpha state. And now generally most of the adolescent, now we both are, everyone mostly stay in the beta brainwave. The beta is nothing but, now you are listening to me, I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking with some energy, and now my brain is operating at the beta level, and now you are listening to me and understanding and processing and remembering all these details, noting down, and your brain is also operating at the beta brainwave frequency. Okay. So theta and alpha are highly suggestible, and most of the kids, their brain operates at the theta and alpha state. And if your brain is operating at these two states, you will learn the things very quickly. Okay. You are going to learn anything, whatever the languages, skills, or whatnot, everything you will learn directly. And now our body, our life operates on the program based, okay, programs. And now your life operates on the programs which were programmed inside you, and where all these programs stored means in our subconscious mind. So in this age, 2 to 12 years old, like their brain operates at a subconscious level. That means whatever they see, whatever they watch, they will easily get influenced, and they don't have this mind called analytical mind. They don't analyze what is good, what is bad. Whatever they see, they will pick it up. That's why we should keep a good environment in our houses, because if you keep all the bad environment and bad surroundings, then people, kids will learn very easily bad things or the good things, because that is what available to them. Whatever they observe, they will learn from the surroundings. So that is what the theta and alpha state. Okay. And now they don't have that particular state where they don't have that analytical mind to see what is good and what is bad. And as I mentioned, these two states are highly suggestible, and all the information whatever they observe from their experiences directly, and these whatever the experiences which they see in their childhood, that are going to directly encoded or means programmed into your subconscious mind. So we should be very careful, especially if you are a parent, and what kind of environment and what kind of parenting you are doing. It's something very important. And at this stage, they don't have analytical mind. Okay. So because of that, they don't know what is good and what is bad. They will just adapt whatever which is available to them around them. Okay. So, and in her case, generally, in that lady case, Laurie case, when she was young, she was always getting abuses from her father, and every time physical violence, and so much she was going through. And with that, her entire subconscious mind programmed to every time be in the flight or flight mode. And that means she was constantly using her entire energy to save herself. And in that case, slowly what happened, every time your body brain is segregating a lot of stress hormone cortisol, then now her body have a DNA genes. Okay. And this cortisol is mixed with the blood, it become a poisonous blood now, is going and changing the gene expression. Up to that time, her bone DNA, her bone genes DNA is something like all of us. But every time when she was going through constant stress, slowly that stress induced chemicals entered into the gene and slowly started changing the gene expression. Gene expression means previously that bone gene was something strong, but as constantly it is happening now, instead of bone being stronger, it become fragile. You getting? So the same thing happens with the cancer and other diseases also. Generally your stress is responsible for your 95% of the problem which you face in your life. 95% of all your health issues because of the stress levels we go through, because stress always change the gene expression. Gene expression means the coding inside the gene DNA. So because of that, and generally we supposed to be healthy, but why we get sick means because of our genes get changed and our DNA get changes over the period of time when we go through constant stress. And because of that, we go through certain kind of problems. And in her case, in Laurie's case, and that problem emerged at the age of 19, because certain diseases only appears after certain age. And even though they were triggered when we were child, but these kind of diseases, especially the kind of disease which degenerative disease, she started seeing and experiencing at the age of 19. But at that time she was not aware of that it was because of her father and her conditions in the house caused the disease, and she was not even aware of what was happening in her life also. Okay, so every time, like, she was always weak, feeling weak and powerless, vulnerable, stressed, fearfully every single day with her father. And she is like, after she met with this particular disease, and she is safe at least because her father knows that she is like, whenever he beat, then she's going to have a fracture. So better she is now escaped from her father's physical violence, means from beatings. But although she is safe from her father's physical violence, but she is not safe from her, his verbal abuse. Like, he used to every time abuse her emotionally and verbally, up until the death of his death. He died after 15 years. So up to the time before his death, also he used to every time abuse her, and she constantly live in the fear. Okay, now she's like a handicap now. Every time she need either stick or the crutches. It happened with me generally, and same happened with her also. I had a surgery in my BTech third year. I had a ACL surgery on my knee, and when I had that surgery, I after that I took the rest. But whenever I want to travel in the public buses, I always used to tell them that I had a surgery on my leg, so I can't walk, I can't stand. So that what happens, they'll give the chair, they will give the seat, right? So that's how I used to use that particular disease, or maybe that particular issue, accident, as like a my own safe that I am using for my benefit. Okay, and every time I'm repeating that my leg is not good, so give me chair, like that. Now with her also, her problem became her identity. Means every time wherever she goes, she is using her problem as identity by saying that I am having this particular disease, please give me chair. And by looking at her, people started giving the chair. So she is getting a special treatment from the society wherever she is going. Like, every time she is explaining about her problem to the people, then she is getting a better treatment. And think of, like, people will have small issue, like maybe they have small problem with the hearing problem, and they want to get the pension. In India we have pension system, right? And they'll go and say that if it is just 10%, they'll say that it's a 50%, 60%, and then they want to get small problem. What they do, they'll create the identity around them. Okay, and they say that I am deaf, I am dumb, and my legs are not working properly, like that. So in her case also, with that disease, so she slowly started using her disease for her benefit. Okay, now her disease became her identity, and she started like using that disease wherever she go. After that, what she want, like, we all know that maybe you joined in this class, you have some health issues, and then you decided to change yourself. And she knows that she is getting fractures with whatever she is doing. Even for small difficult walking also, she'll get fractures. But 19-year-old woman, right, she don't want to let herself to be in the wheelchair or do something. What she wanted, she again wanted to train herself by using her mind, strong mind, conscious mind, to change her life. And what she did, she slowly started wanting to build her body. She wanted to go to gym, like all of you. Okay, and then she wanted to lift the weights. But she is using her conscious mind to motivate herself and do that work. But her biology is not supportive. Okay, even if she generally she is going to gym and she's only lifting certain weights and doing certain exercises to protect herself from the fractures. But again it backfired. Okay, and the moment when she started going, and again she started experiencing some more fractures in her body. Means whenever she is lifting, her bones are getting fractured. And she wanted to do it, but she failed because it is not working. Because just by thinking, and then if you go, nothing will change. And the mistake she did was, like, she watched one motivational video from our English therapy, and then she wanted to do something, and then that immediately backfired, and again she met with some other injuries. Okay, and in her 20s, she had arthritis and in her spine. Okay, she had arthritis problem. Okay, bones problem, and also different place. Also, she started having arthritis. Different problems, and mostly she became sedentary. Like she started sitting in a chair and not moving anywhere. And then somewhat she is living a normal life. Okay, she don't want to do anything extra. And now her mind and body convinced that her life is not going to change anymore, and her life became very pathetic, very bad. And imagine how it feel like you can't do anything, something, bigger things. Okay, let's see what is going to happen next. So far you're understanding, right, what is happening with this lady. Mm. And now at the age of 30, Laurie had become more, she started having more back problems than her father, who is 90, 70 years old. And just at the age of 30 itself, she had more problems and she started looking old. Okay, before her time. Means when you are not doing anything in the day and you are not doing anything physical activities, then you look much older than your age. So when they look at you, they feel like you are, 40 at the age of 25. Okay. So this is what happens when you live sedentary life. And generally think of that, she started getting fractures every time, even if she take the stairs also. And it was like she don't know when her next nightmare is going to come. Whatever she do, it is going to create some fractures in her body, and she never knows what is going to come next. So that's how her life was going. Okay. And what she did, like she was also somehow managed to go and stay in the PZ with her friends and started going to college. But everywhere she needs someone to support her and to take care of her. And it becomes little difficult for her also to make friends and to go out, or to go out on dates, or to go out on parties. She was relatively having a lot of difficult life, and it became so serious for her. And every time she started, hating her life. Obviously, who will love that kind of life? Every time you can't go anywhere and you can't sit properly for 1 hour to listen to this class, then definitely you don't like this life anymore. And she accepted her life like that. And she said, nothing is going to change, and I will live like this till my end. And she tried so many, different treatments. She went to different hospitals and she met different people in her life. She gone through, allopathy and homeopathy and sound. We have sound healing related kind of, energy healing related kind of treatments will be there. She had tried every, treatment, but still, while she was getting the treatment, she used to feel good. But after that, again, she is normal and she's back to her problems. And up until till she started knowing, okay, something, she got to know that it's possible to change. And how it is possible to change, she started knowing. And one day she attended one particular webinar, okay, like a seminar. Okay, the way you are all attending to now, in the same way, one day she also attended one particular seminar by a doctor named called Dr. Joe Dispenza. Okay, he is a neuroscientist and doctor, and a lot of, he's into epigenetics, whatever the quantum physics subjects which I explained, right? He is the pioneer. Okay, just think of that, I'm at the scale of 1 and he's at the 100, and my goal is to become 100 in my life. So just think of that, he's my senior or boss. Okay. And she attended to that particular webinar one day, and that doctor said, like, she learned the concept of we can literally change our life and we can live new life. We can completely create the new life. You can ignore, you can change your life by creating a new life, and it is possible. And this man started explaining how we can create a new life from our old life to new life. And she was so shocked by listening to this. And she attended her first event, and she learned that it is absolutely possible to change our life no matter what is your condition is. And all the doctors and medical science said that her disease was incurable, means there is no cure for that particular disease. But this man is saying, if you really decided to change your life, change is possible. And for the first time, she listened to these kind of things. But obviously, when you had a life of 10 years of sedentary life, then you don't want to believe all these things. But somehow she felt, okay, why not just attend one day? What will happen? And a lot of times in this class also, so many people believe at the age of 30, from past 10 years, they struggle with all the communication skills problem. They attended a lot of, other online platforms or offline platforms, and they have learned everything. And at the age of 30, 40, they believed that now English learning is not possible for me because I think I can't learn it. Okay. Unless until they come to English therapy and learns that it is possible. So like that for her also at that point of time, till that point of time she was, but she was not believing, because obviously when you join fight and multiple online platforms, then it is very difficult for you to believe in this platform, right? You feel like it is also going to be like that only. And initially she did not believe that is going to happen, but at least as a last hope she wanted to try, at least to feel good. She is not having any intention of changing herself, but she just wanted to try. And she learned that your brain, your thoughts, your body, your emotional state, and your genetic expressions can be changed. It is possible to change your brain, your thoughts, your body, your emotional state, and your genes, your genetic expression, your DNA also can be changed. As I mentioned, she learned it, but she is not having any intention of changing her life. But when she attended that particular seminar or webinar, she started feeling better. That's why she attended. But after attending, she focused on one important thing. She knows that our life is not going to change, but she just wanted to follow one thing from her, from that particular event, from that particular session, that she stopped sharing about her disease with others. Okay. Up to the time, wherever she goes, she started using her disease as identity to get the special treatment from everyone. But after listening to that particular seminar, she stopped saying the problems about her life with the other people. Getting? And for you also same thing. Stop saying I am not good communicator. My problem is English, like that. Same rule applicable. Okay. You know that you have a communication skills problem. That's why only you joined. But every time you're saying the same thing again and again and again and again, then it is programming your subconscious mind. And this is the one thing she learned from that particular seminar, that she stopped using the explanation about her disease. And later she also started stopped acknowledging about her disease, means she started telling about the problem. And she chose to focus, like she started slowly thinking about where she want to, how she want to change her life. Up to that time, she's in the present moment, focusing on the past and telling every time about her past life, how her life how her life was, how bad it is, something like that. Every time she started focusing about the past in the present moment, and that's how she was going through a lot of problems in her life. But after that time, she slowly started thinking about her future filled with a different life. Okay. And I explained the mental rehearsal technique. Okay. And in the meditation concept also same thing. She really wanted to change her life. And what she started doing, instead of focusing on the past, she started focusing on the future. And what kind of future she want now? That wheelchair lady, towards a happy inner life. Okay, that she wanted happy inner self, a deep connection to someone. Okay, unknown, like it could be a god or to inner soul, whatever it is, or a wonderful job. Because of her problem, no one is giving a job, and she's not able to manage a job also. But she wanted to do the job that. And then she wanted a life partner, because obviously she is having a lot of bone fracture, means who will marry her, and no one even interested in dating with her also. And also she also wanted close and healthy relationship with the friends and relatives, because she is a sick person. Every time she always tell about her problems, then no one wants to be around her. But now she wanted to have a good friends and good family members, and with good with the relatives, the good relationship with the relatives and friends. And this is the for the first time she started hoping for this kind of new life. Up to that time, her problem was completely, she started talking about only about her problems. But now she changed. First thing, she started sharing about her problem. And second thing is, she started thinking about what she really want in her life. For you also, what you really wanted with good communication skills. Just speaking in English with the people, or what you really wanted to create with this new skill. So have that clarity, not just about English communication skills, but what kind of future you want after 5 years, 10 years. Have that clear clarity. And she learnt how she wanted her future to be looked like. Okay. So now the game starts. Okay. And the second thing is she started paying very close attention towards her thoughts and her words. Previously, she was just letting her mind to produce all the different thoughts, whatever which comes, whatever she feels, she started using the negative words and negative thoughts to tell about her problem to everyone. But now onwards, what she started doing, she started paying very close attention what kind of words she is using. And so many times people use, I'm not getting interest to study these English books, and I'm not getting interest to learn these technical skills, I'm not seeing any improvement in my communication skills. Like these kind of thoughts you will get, and then you immediately use that words to tell the people that why I am feeling fear every time. So every time we use negative statements about us, and we every time share those things only with the people. Okay. And now what she started doing, she started using herself that at least 20 to 30 times per day, that she's changing. So she started using that word, I am changing, I am improving, and I'm becoming better. And she started doing like this. And generally I tell these things, okay, even if you are not improving your communication skills in this class, always say that you are improving your communication skills, you are changing yourself, then you will change. But most of the people, they say to me whenever I ask the certain questions purposefully, sir, I'm changing little bit. I improved little bit, and I am little bit seeing some positive changes. And that little bit words and the small things are actually pulling you back again. Okay. Instead, you are not changing, also start using that words that I am now very confident and I lost my fear. If you use these kind of words, then literally you will change. But unfortunately, people just use these things for the getting sympathy from the people. Only thing is sympathy beggars, and they want sympathy from everyone. And that's why they always love to share about their problems, and that's why they keep the WhatsApp status also saying that I am not feeling good, and something we see, right? A lot of sad status. Why? Because they want the attention from the people, they want a different attention from the people. They already, their life is worst, but they wanted to make it even more worst with this new words and whatever the negative vocabulary they use in their day-to-day life. And even though every time she wanted to become positive, but her mind started drifting to the past. Obviously, it is very difficult to think about the future, and every time you are in the present and you go back to the past, that is the easiest thing to do. And in her day, every time when she was thinking about positive, and her mind started filling with hundreds of negative thoughts. But every time whenever she was getting the negative thoughts, she's aware now, because of her old personality and old behavior and patterns. It's very common for her to think negative and to think bad about her past. But now she's aware, she is conscious, and because of that consciousness, slowly again she is, instead of going to the past, she is again keeping herself in the future possibilities, whatever she want in her future. And with that, she started generating the positive thoughts, new positive thoughts about her future. And she's trying to attempt to believe very deeply that about her future and all. But it becomes very difficult for you to believe in them. And slowly she started trying to believe, but almost it took 2 years to believe in those new thoughts. You can think about the future, about beautiful future, but for you to believe, it is not possible. Every time you have a self doubt inside, is it possible, how it is going to happen? And that kind of negative thoughts come into our mind. And outside we may say that words, but inside we are not completely feeling those words. We are not completely feeling and believing in those words. If I ask you to say I'm confident, then you will say for the sake of me, confident, but inside you're not feeling that word itself. And you're just saying outside, but inside you're not confident. So for her also, even though she has been watching her thoughts carefully and not using that words to describe her disease, but still it took around 2 years to feel in those new thoughts and the words whatever she is saying to herself. Okay. And she felt like telling lie every time whenever she started saying these things. She was feeling like I am telling lie. And she was like, as we did last time, last Saturday, meditation, right, for 1 hour 45 minutes meditation. And when she also started doing that kind of meditation, when she was closing her eyes and doing that visualization and meditation, that 1 hour she's feeling great, she's feeling great, and she feel like she changed. But when she opened her eyes, then she started seeing the same walls and same situations and same problems, nothing changed. And she felt like after some time, I think I'm lying to myself, but I'm not actually changing. That is what her inner feeling. And same thing happens to you also. A lot of times you wanted to change and you change for something, and after that you feel like normal again, and you feel technically inside that you're not changing anymore. So what, whenever she feels like that, the doctor said, don't continue with your preparation and practice whatever you are practicing. And instead of getting frustrated with that, okay, with that waiting period, she almost took 2 years time to started believing in a new possibilities, right? Instead of getting frustrated, obviously when you join in this class, within 1 month only you wanted to speak like me. And if you can't, then you feel like this man is not helping to become. But it took me 6 years to speak the way I'm speaking now, and still I am working on my communication skills. But the people who join, in this class, that they want to speak like me within 1 month, 2 months, and they don't have that patience, and they get frustrated, when I will improve, when I will improve, when I will become communicator and public speaker, some kind, they have this kind of impatience. But this particular Laurie reminded herself that obviously it took her around 19 years to create that disease in her life. It took her almost to reach to that 19, to get that disease. It took her body and brain to create that disease for almost 19 years. And now, definitely to uncreate it, to remove the disease from her, it will definitely take some time. So she started saying that to her, like, you created the fear of communication skills or English for almost 10, 15 years, and it will not go within 1 week or 2 weeks. Obviously it will go and again it will come back frequently. And to you have created that feeling and that emotion inside you, and that emotion cannot be uncreated with over 1 session or 2 sessions, and it will again reappear. So this is what started happening herself. But she started reminding herself, to become who I am today, it almost took 20, 25 years. And how can I change myself with 1 or 2 years of practice? It may take some more time. It's okay. I will not get frustrated. I will become patient. I will maintain my patience levels, and then I will change myself. And also, she also reminded herself that she would have to go through biological, neurological, chemical, and genetic death of old self. The old self means when you are being a old person, your brain operates certain way. Your brain neurons are working in some way, and the chemicals what are releasing in your body also, some chemicals means your body is filled with a lot of cortisol and negative adrenaline related chemicals. And now genetic expressions, your body is operating your genes are operating at a certain level. And to see the complete new version of yourself, you should kill old patterns of the brain path, and you should completely forget the chemicals, the negative chemicals taste your body, and your gene should change. Okay, gene expression should change. Then only you will convert from old self to new self. Old self means you think in certain way, you behave in certain way, you do the things in certain way, and that was your old personality. Now if you want to change yourself, you should think in a different way, you should do the things differently. Then only you will become a completely changed person. And same again, complete coming to the English, you are living your life watching your mother tongue videos every day in Instagram, scrolling through every day, and not reading at all. You don't have any reading habit after your graduation. In your graduation also, when you are in the school, college, you don't even read except 1 or 2 days before your exams. And when you join in this class, and improving communication skill is a new self. You cannot become new person with the old habits and old old self. If you really wanted to change your communication skills, means you should completely transform your personality. Means now onwards you should start speaking only in English with the people who know English, and you should start watching English videos and listening to English related podcast and audiobooks, and spending your time every time soaking your brain in English. Then you will transform as a new person. But I don't want to do anything, just I will attend to your classes and then give me communication skills, means you'll not completely transformed in communication skills. Clear? So this is what she started reminding herself, that have to change biologically, neurologically, chemically, then only I'll become a new person. And to have to to take those place changes in our body and brain, it will take some time. Okay. And also Dr. Dispenza also encourages her to keep crossing the river. Means she's like, think of that there is a river, She's at the other side of the river, and to completely transform her life, she should reach to the other side of the river. And now she's in the middle of the river. She's swimming, but still she's not getting the shore, other side of the ocean or that river. And in the middle, she's feeling that she's completely lost. Sometimes she's losing her motivation, she's losing her confidence. But this is where the mentor role plays in. Okay, not mental, mentor role plays in. And the mentors are already knows the path, and they will tell, still keep going, then you will reach. But unfortunately, if you don't have that someone who had that clarity when you is your destination, you ended up just stopping right away. Maybe who knows, maybe you are 1 year or maybe one moment away from your transformation. We don't know. And you put your effort so much, but you are not seeing any improvement. And if you stop it there, means you wasted a lot of your hard work and almost you changed. And it's just away from maybe one presentation, one hosting chance, maybe one particular Saturday session, which is going to completely transform you. And that's why a lot of people give up by just joining 2 3 sessions. And they join first time TEDx session, and then when I play the TEDx video and it's something foreigner English and they don't understand anything, and next day don't even join the class because they feel this class is not suitable for them. But who knows, maybe next day I will ask one question which is personal to you, and you are so much connected to that question, and you ended up speaking more than you ever imagined in your life. So this is what happens when you are crossing, when you are transforming yourself. And then the doctor said, keep going, don't give up. You are just few days away from the transformation. And she believed in the doctor and slowly started changing herself. And it happened during that session. She was attending to the particular, they met in 2009, and she is still continuing, almost it's almost 2012, 3 years, 2.5 years almost. And during one live session, live classes, for the first time, she felt divine presence inside her. Okay. And she was not even aware of that, what was happening, in her life. And she felt something different experience. You might have had a different experience last time when you did meditation, right? And in her case, she never felt like that in her complete last 30 years. But that was for the first time, she felt something different in herself when she was doing the meditation. And she was crying without even knowing why she was crying. She was getting a lot of, tears from her eyes, and her body started shivering. She started getting shivering her body. And then automatically, without even realizing, her hand started lifting in the air, and she was completely feeling different personality inside her, which she never felt. And she was so happy, and without even realizing, she was shouting some words outside, like out of that happiness. Because up to that time, she was living in a completely different life. She fed up with her life, but she is hoping one day she will improve herself and she'll completely transform her life. And that particular day, during one of the live session, she became someone else. She completely changed her life in a way that she never experienced before. And from that moment onwards, she started feeling so happily. And then for the next meeting, she started walking without limping. Limping means in Telugu kuntadam, okay? Walking, in a different way. Limping means when you had an accident after 1 2 months, you will walk in certain way, right? By just taking different kind of walking style. So before that, she used to come to the events by limping. But from that moment onwards, she started walking fine without even limping or without moving her body like this. Okay. So she was feeling so happy, like, and she started, smiling and laughing, and she started, feeling so great inside herself. Previously, she was so frustrated. If you see her face, you will see always grumpy face, and you feel a lot of anger on her face and sadness. But now she started attending to the events with happy, smiling, and laughing face instead of all the old experiences and emotions. Okay. And that was a moment she felt something completely different in her life. And that incident started changing her, and she started becoming more positive, more happy that she never experienced in her entire life before. That's not the end. Okay. It still continued. And now she started transferring and changing her fear into courage. She slowly started transmuting her fear into courage, her frustration into patience, her pain into joy, and her weakness into strength. So slowly she started changing herself from fear to courage, frustration to patience, pain to joy, and weakness into strength from that particular moment onwards. And she started seeing the change on the outside and inside. Now she started experiencing the change inside and outside. And now she is free from all the limiting emotions which she started having. Like she got addicted to all the negative emotions in her past by feeling low, powerless, and fearful. And now she is free from all those limiting emotions, means uh, no, completely less bad emotions. And now her body is living less in the past and more in the future. And then in the early 2020, 2012, and now she went to doctor, orthopedic doctor, and again she scanned. Previously lot of bones were fractured, and now when she scanned she found out that 2 by third of all her fractures were vanished. Okay, 2 by third means previously she had 3 fractures, means now only she had 1 fracture. And no, sorry, if she had 3, then only 1 fracture is there, remaining 2 were cured. So that's how out of 9, 6 bone fractures were cured, and only she had 3 fractures. So like that, out of 90, 60 bone fractures were completely vanished, only 30 fractures were there. And it was not the case from 19 years, like when she got this disease from 19 years, at the age of 19, right? From that 19 years to till she was around 40 years now. Up to the time she never had this kind of report. Every time when she go to orthopedic doctor, when she scanned, when she took the x-ray, in that x-ray every time it shows that even more bones get fractured, and every time she feel disappointed. But for the first time after this meditation and practice, she started seeing the changes in her body. Okay. And somehow she started started seeing and experiencing the success in her life, but still she had some setbacks also, means failures and downs also in her life. And now she started really believe that her mind was healing her body by thoughts alone, like means every time she was doing meditation and thinking about the future, and now she's believing that I can cure myself by just thought alone. And she's doing that. And now she was no longer firing and wiring the circuits in the brain, means when you are thinking in some way, old self means your brain will operate in certain way. And now she is thinking about herself in a different way, and her brain neurons are firing in a different way. And she was uncreating, unmemorizing being her old self, and remembering every time her future. And that means previously there are this side of the neurons are responsible for our old self. Now she started thinking about her future, and instead of firing these left side neurons, she started firing the right side neurons. Means now our left side neurons are inactive, only her right side neurons are active, and that right side neurons are responsible for our new future. And she is no longer living in the past. Okay. And because of that thinking and feeling, her genes also started responding in a different way every day with the meditation, and she started feeling completely different. And her bone cells, previously the bone cells uses the different kind of chemicals and fragile material, and because of that every time she get the fractures. But now because of her new mind, the new mind is sending the new signals to the body, and body cells are receiving the new signals, and our gene started changing the DNA structure inside. And now instead of bone becoming fragile, now it is getting stronger, it is curing. The bones are getting cured with the new signals which are sending by the new mind. Clear? Yes. She was like her body, like she also had the different she started giving a different signals to her body in different ways, in many possible ways. How means previously she started when she was wearing shirt, what generally routine we follow, we keep first right hand into our sleeve and then left hand. That was her old mindset, whole program. And now you do it, and what you do when you're brushing, you brush your teeth with the right hand. It's programmed. But now what she's doing, every time she is using a different approach to do the things. Instead of using right hand, she started using the left hand. Means for right hand usage, your brain, some neurons are responsible. But now when she's doing the left hand brushing, then some other neurons are firing, and she started forgetting a old self. And in the bed also, every time she wake up from the left side, but she started waking up from the right side. Okay. So like that, instead of keeping the buttons from top to bottom, she started keeping the bottom to top. Something she's every time trying to do something in a new way, so that she is not firing the old personal brain neurons, old brain neurons, and she's every time creating the new brain neurons. That means she is literally changing her brain structure. It required efforts, but she is okay to put that efforts. Okay. And she put notes everywhere in her environment to remind herself to stay conscious. Means she used that sticky notes, and she started using all the positive affirmations to remind herself, maybe back of the door, or in front of her desk, in the kitchen, in the bedroom, and in the bathroom. Everywhere she started keeping some positive powerful quotations as a reminder for herself to change her life. Okay. And one particular quote she used and she kept on her desk is, your thoughts are incredibly powerful, choose yours wisely. So she started saying herself that your thoughts are very powerful. Then if you keep your thoughts negative, then your life will become negative. Better choose your thoughts wisely, then your life will transform. And then in 2013, for the first time in 28 years, when she again visited doctor, when they took the scanning x-ray, they found no evidence of fracture. There was no bone fractures, and her bones are perfectly fine, and there is no problem with the disease. And now, when she looked at that X-ray, she felt so happy that now my disease gone, and I'm healthy, and everything changed in my life. And that's how she felt very happy that now she changed her life. And now she's feeling like my bones were undamaged and nothing happened to my bones. Her body was now continuously responding to the new mind. Okay. And lab results shown. Okay. Up to the time she had sorry, she had taken the X-ray, and in X-ray, her bones are perfectly fine. But doctor suggested to take the blood test and urine test. And when they took the blood test and urine test, suspense came. Okay. And her blood and urine still had the disease alive. Okay. And she did a lot of things to change her life. And but when bones are fine, but her blood and urine still had that. It's like when you go to corona test, then you're feeling okay, but when they took the test, then still your saliva had a corona symptoms, right? In the same way, they also found out that her blood and urine still have that disease alive. It's not completely vanished. And how do you feel? Previously, when the X-ray showed nothing there and you feel excellent, but when you see this news, then you will feel heartbroken. In the same way, she also felt heartbroken by listening to that news. But again, you joined in this class, you improved your communication skills, you did great presentations, but you attended interview and you failed. And what will you feel? I did everything, whatever I can do from my end to improve my communication skill, but still I failed in my interview, and you feel very disheartened. You feel low and you lose the confidence and you lose all the hopes. Again, that's where mentor comes in. And again, doctor came in and said that don't lose your hope, practice some more months, and then your change is going to happen. And now she again started doing meditation, this time very powerful now. Okay, she started visualizing. So far, her visualization technique involved perfect bones. But now she started visualizing herself completely healthy person with a lot of vibrant energy, and she started visualizing her future as vividly as possible in her meditation. Okay. And she started told herself that just whatever she had left, lived from 19 years to 47 years, her past was completely died. Her past self was completely died. And now she wanted to live in a new life. And whatever happened in last 20-25 years was completely a story, not my life. And I want to change. Okay. And that the final chapter came. Okay. She began to think more clearly about her future. She was okay with either the outcome. She did for almost 6 months with all the things. And then she went again to the test. And this 6 months, she again vividly started visualizing herself. and she went to the doctor. And before going to the doctor, she was started, she took the car to go to hospital. And the moment when she get inside the car, she said thanks to her car, and she started showing her gratitude to her legs for using her legs to drive that car. And the moment when she entered to the hospital parking space, she found the parking slot and she showed her gratitude for the parking space. And she entered into the hospital. She shown her thankfulness to the hospital. And the moment when she met the doctor, she started wishing that staff members who are working in that hospital. She said the thanks to the doctor, and doctor gave her, time that wait for 40 minutes in that waiting lobby. After that, we'll take your urine and blood, and after that you can go. And in that 40 minutes also, she was not concerned about what is going to be the results. She just started showing her gratitude and doing the meditation in that 40 minutes of waiting time also. She was not, terrified what is going to be the results and whether it will change or not this time, whether results will come in a negative or positive. She is not care about that. She just started believing in herself, and instead of stop analyzing, again, when you analyze, your subconscious mind will not work. So instead of analyzing, she trusted blindly. That's why I tell every time when you join in this class, believe in me blindly, I will change your life and I'll change your communication skills. The reason is, if you believe blindly or trust, then subconscious mind plays. But she started, instead of analyzing, she started thinking about her life. Why she stopped analyzing? The moment when she stopped, when she started analyzing, immediately that triggers her old personality, and she don't want to go again back to her old personality. Instead, she wanted to completely live in the future, and she did only her meditation, and she started doing the things. And this time the results came completely different. And the particular test revealed that there is no disease at all in her blood or urine or body at all. And she is completely changed. And she no longer needed something outside for her to make herself happy. She started feeling inside happy. Okay. And she also said that she wasn't waiting for the results to make me feel happy or thankful. Without the results, irrespective of what results are going to come, I'm very happy and I'm very thankful for the life which I have now. I was in as a state of authentic and gratitude, in love with the life. It already happened. Okay. She started feeling like my life changed, and she started showing her genuine gratitude and love to herself, as if her life completely changed. And 2 weekful joys later, the doctor told, your results are perfectly normal. You scored 40 and your values are down from abnormal state to normal state. And previously her state or score was 68, and now that elevated score came to 40 within just 5 months. Like last time when she had that report, and her score was 68, but now it reduced to 40 and it's perfectly all right. And now our bones, body, brain, everything changed. And now she is living the life in a different way that she never even imagined also. And she no longer needed someone or something to make her feel sorry. Yeah. And finally, Laurie crossed the river of change, and she reached the destination where she wanted to reach after 25 years of struggle. And there was no evidence of her past living in her body any longer. And she was free as a newborn now. Okay. And she is completely newborn baby now, living her life. And now she started saying that I am in love with who I am now. Okay. I am at peace. I truly changed on the biological and cellular level also. Okay, she reached the destination where she wanted to reach, and she had gone through multiple fractures and problems in her life. But at the end, at the age of 47, her disease started at the age of 19, but reached at the age of 47, completely different life. And this is the life is possible in everyone's life, and it is scientific. Okay, it's scientific. If we know how to use our mind and body and what kind of transformation we can achieve. And no matter what is your age, you just need right mindset to change anything in your life. And that's where English therapy focus on changing your mindset first, so that everything can be changed automatically. People join in this class to improve their communication skills in English, and they ended up learning scooter driving, car driving. How? Because now they started thinking positive about their life. They started completely thinking that I'm a different person now, and they started feeling something different. And this is what I want to tell you. No matter what is your problem, apply this science, and it's proven. And today I have revealed one beautiful story, that story of transformation. And next week I am going to tell two more stories, which are going to be even more personal to you. If you are a depressed person, and if you lost all the hope in your life, those stories also going to talk about the same science, but different problems. But no matter whatever the problem is, the bottom line is your mind is everything. If you believe in yourself, you can change anything. And it's proven in my life. My life used to be completely different, but the day when I started knowing all these things, I programmed my subconscious mind and living the life of someone's dreams life. Okay, so this is possible for you also. Just accept. Sometimes you feel like you're not changing, but she struggled a lot, right, to change, and she did not give up. And same thing for you also. So just believe in yourself. Your mind has the power to change your body, your genes, and your surroundings and situation, anything, your diseases. So don't give the power to your diseases by repeatedly mentioning about your diseases. It's the most biggest mistake people used to not do. I did the same mistake in my life. I used to feel like I was the unluckiest person in my life. Like I lost my mother at the young age, and I lost my home, and I became very financially weak. And I started having a lot of health issues. Every time I play cricket, I used to get injured, and my leg got injured, and I got surgery. Every time when I want to do something, then I used to get something negative. And people also around me started saying that you are the unluckiest person I have ever seen in my life. Like that, they give me this label tag to me that you are the unluckiest person. And I applied for the bank loan. And when I went to the bank loan, I almost got everything perfectly fine. The moment when he was about to print, then power went off. And that manager told me, I have never seen any person this much unlucky like that. And when I was constantly listening to these kind of words, I felt maybe I am the unluckiest person. And the more I started saying to myself that I am unlucky, I started getting all the unlucky things into my life. Means I am being a magnet, attracting all the problems in my life, because I am saying every time I am the unluckiest person. The day when I realized that no, my words are wrong. I'm using the wrong words. Because of these words, I'm getting all the problems in my life. And then I became aware that I wanted to change my words. I wanted to change my thoughts. And slowly, I started using the powerful words in myself. Even though unlucky happening in my life, still I started saying I am lucky person. And my friends started saying, are you mad? Are you are unlucky, but you are saying you are lucky. I said, who told I am unlucky? I am lucky. And I started highlighting what are all the positive things so far happened. I was just only focusing on negative things what happened, but that moment onwards I started celebrating whatever I already have in my life. The more I'm being blissful and started thankful to everything what I have, the universe started sending me so many positive things into my life, and I started changing myself into a completely a positive magnet now. And I started attracting a lot of positive people into my life, positive incidents into my life, and I started changing my life. Not only changing my life, started changing the people's lives also with my powers. So this is what possible when we believe in ourselves, and it is the fact and proof. And I told Laurie's story, and if you know me personally, then you can just apply myself also into this particular concept, and you will see that. And not only myself, if you follow all these things, you can also tell one day your story to someone else that I learned these concepts and I implemented in my life, and I started changing. So, guys, knowing this is just a information. Okay, whatever you learned now today is just a information. But if you apply in your life, and no matter what happens, still you continue to achieve, then you will see the transformation. Knowing is different, and doing, applying is different. Those who know, they are just collected piece of information in their life. But if you really wanted to change your life, then you should apply in your life. Then you will become transformed. Instead of somebody treating you that you have a lot of information to learn, Instead, they will take a lot of inspiration from you. Okay. You are just not a information carrier, like you pass the information. Nowadays, ChatGPT also will send the information for everything. But people will not get motivated by looking at the ChatGPT's answers or ChatGPT stories. People will learn and change their lives by looking at someone who is inspiring them. And you can be that inspiration to someone else if you change your personality by following these methods, whatever I shared in this presentation. And thank you all for your patience. And yeah, I really appreciate your efforts in sitting for almost 1 hour, more than 1 hour, listening to my words. And that means you have a lot of interest in learning and changing your life. And I am wishing you all the best for your future. Whatever your dreams are, anything is possible. It's just you need to believe in yourself and start changing whatever you want to change and whatever you can change. Okay, so that's it from my end. Thank you all for joining and watch this video multiple times. Watch the old videos which I talked about. You will get the complete connection. I have not explained the science in this video. I have explained only transformation. But the science I already shared in the previous videos. Watch these videos in a loop mode. Okay. And she did for almost 6 months, 1 year, 3 years of practice, and she changed, right? And she was told by the doctors that it was incurable, but she changed her life. And who are we can change easily. And the people like you joined, who joined in this class with the background of Tamil medium, Telugu medium, Hindi medium background, they changed. And you are not a new person here. Those people changed means you can also change. What you really need is a discipline in maintaining the new lifestyle. And at times we feel like, why we are doing all these things? I just want to be a typical housewife. Typical housewife means average housewife. What average housewife will do? They will wake up and go and clean all the vessels and then start cooking and then send their kids and husband to the office. And then they open the daily TV serial or maybe open the Instagram and they just watch, scroll through. And then by the end of the evening, their kids come and their husband come and again cooking and then completing the task. And they live that kind of life. Initially, when you are when you are having a small young babies, you feel good that you are parenting and doing something great. But after your kids become bigger and then they go and study on their own and they started living their own life, your husband do work his own work, and you feel alone. You feel that I sacrificed my entire life for these people, but now these people don't want to stay with me and don't want to speak with me. And that creates a lot of guilty feeling inside. You feel very bad about yourself. And you feel like, why I sacrificed my life for these kind of people. So you can perfectly do all these things without sacrificing your own goals and dreams. And your dream, maybe just speaking in English with your kids, or maybe doing a job by earning your own dignity and money and the freedom, or just whatever it could be. You can have that kind of life also. And you can be a working professional, woman, okay, woman working professional, or just you can limit yourself for the kitchen or to the home. So you decide, and it's easy every time, okay, that to lead a normal life, but it just need courage and confidence to lead the new life. And once you started leading your new life, you hate your old life, and that doesn't look something exciting. You feel like it was a boring and everyday routine. But the moment when you started leading your life in a different way, you feel new power within you, new energy within you, and you love that kind of life. So give the taste of that new life to your body. Initially, your body don't want to change, your mind don't want to change. But when you push yourself again and again and again, then you will see complete transformation. And it really takes time. Have patience. Don't lose the hope. I am there here. And there are a lot of people also there in this class who always, every time when you need help, they are always there to give their hand to support you. Just you have to have that. Instead of giving up, just hold on. Giving up is easy, anybody can do that. But holding on to the goal which you kept for yourself required courage. And that only few people can capable of doing it. And I hope you will be one among them. Thank you.